Alright, so for this one I wanted to check out my first ever project, which I've written in Windows Forms in C#. Pretty weird, I know. But this was the first project where I didn't have a problem statement for a leetcode style problem, and I was given just the do a game in Windows Forms or do an application, and I chose to do a game because it was like easier, didn't really have ideas for what else to do, but follow the tutorial, which was pretty cool on YouTube, about doing a Flappy Bird game, but I couldn't find the YouTube video, so it was also pretty old, so I think it should be like 12 years ago. But or I guess that's the when the video was posted, but I couldn't find it. But I thought that I'll rather show my own implementation of like a game, right? Because this was already done and it's not that cool to steal. So if we check in the downloads folder, also found the executables, because I'm not sure if I'm able to compile these things on Linux. Didn't even try it, but I'm pretty sure you cannot. But it's like from 2014, so kind of like 10 years ago, almost, in like a week or so. So yeah, pretty cool, right? Like the 10-year anniversary of my first project. Pretty neat. But as I said, before this I was doing like C++ leetcode style problems, so not my first time coding, but first kind of project. Yeah, let's take a look at the game. So right off the bat I can see that the resolution doesn't really look right, but I think that's because I was using a fixed resolution and probably like 800 by 600. But let's see what the game is about. So if I click on start, instantly dead. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, so we can control the character with the arrow keys, right? And the idea was to keep the character alive while you don't touch the spikes. But what happens if I so if I fall down, also die. But yeah, so the idea is to keep the character alive and on the screen. So yeah, but seeing this image at the top motivates you to not want to go there, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's extremely simple, but no, that's what I would expect from a first project. So yeah, we can actually just check out the actual code and let's see what the code is about. So I was calling this project like something, whatever, falling blocks. I mean, it's a better name than what I had first time. But let's see what the files got to show, right? So resources, I think these are the images that I used for the background, for the player and stuff. So since it was like a Windows Form application, let's check out the program, right? So it has this form 1 thing, but I mean, I have no idea. I don't even have an LSP for C#, I think. But yeah, I mean, everything was default names. I'm pretty sure about it, like form 1, button 1, all of that good stuff. So first thing I can see is that each platform, like each pipe on the screen, had its own variable, which is pretty scuffed, but it honestly it was to be expected. Like, not sure like if you were expecting to see like extremely well implemented thing. I mean, for a first project it made sense. Probably I was like, okay, let's have a single pipe, and then I was thinking, okay, how can I add more than one pipe or more than one platform, and just said, okay, let's just copy this one and do the same thing for 3 others. Why not? Then I have some constants, which, good job for doing constants. Pretty cool for a first project to have constants. I mean, I was expecting to see random numbers all over the place, so at least we have that. Then we have some booleans, probably for when the game is running or something like that. Like start gives me the vibe of it's being used to know when to run the game. Then original X and Y, pretty sure it's for the player position, like it makes sense. Then G is probably like gravity or something, maybe a force, or it's lowercase g, I'm not sure. But probably it's gonna be related to the player falling down. Then we have right and left, and what I'm noticing is that I think all the variables are global. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the variables are gonna be global, because this is how we learned to code in C++ when we were solving problems like algorithm style problems. All the variables are global, but in like my defense, it's a really good approach, because you declare the variable and you don't have to worry about it. And another thing is, I also think I was like coding, even though it's like an OP language, C#, I had no idea about OP, so it's gonna be programming in C# like it's C++ or C, declare the variables and have functions, which I mean is the better way of coding. Let's be honest, OP is trash, so imperative programming is the best one. Okay, maybe functional is better than OP, but C style coding is the best. So I mean, you can even see it does the job. It runs the game, and it's imperative in an OP language. So what more can you ask? Then we have the constructor of the form. I guess this is the entry point or something like that. So we initialize, I think this is like a default function. We save the original position of the player, which makes sense. For some reason we make the spikes, which had a weird name, I know, and the player we make them not visible for some reason. We create a highscore file, why not? And then I have this show highscore function, which probably is gonna read the highscore from the file, and if you have a better highscore, so duration is the current score. So I guess probably duration and stopwatch are gonna be related somehow. Probably the score is how long you survive. Okay, and if you exceed the high score, then you get a message showing that, and if you don't, then you get a message showing that as well. And yeah, like here of course it wasn't English, because I had to present the game in like high school, so yeah, showing the congratulations message and you suck basically. Then we have a die function, which, I mean, you know, it makes complete sense if you go out of bounds and the game is running. Not sure why I used a single pipe and not, like, you know, the actual or, but whatever, doesn't matter. Here you can just remove is equal to true, but doesn't really matter. So if these conditions are met, then you are basically dead, right? So the timer stops, the start is equal to false because the game is not running, something like reset pipes, I don't know what this does. And here we compute the score, which again could be like a local variable or something inside of show high score, but yeah, whatever. Then we reset the player, right, to its original position. Oh, so point, right? So this is like a vec, I guess. So then we make, you know, the player not visible. I think these are gonna be input related, so yeah, not sure why it's needed to make them false, but let's say whatever. And here I have some comments, so maybe we can figure out what these things are used for. So duration is for score, timer 2 is for updating the spy, or I guess the pipes or platforms. Not sure why would need a timer for that, but maybe we'll see. Timer 3 is for moving the player, which maybe makes sense. Maybe it's like a delta time or something. Reset pipes, no idea what I meant. So it's false while the game is running. Whatever, and start is equal to true. So these two are like probably complementary to each other, so you don't even need this one if you have start. Oh my god, you know, probably I was expecting to see these kind of things, because if these are like each one is a separate variable, then you have to write this stuff for each one. So here we create like a random number, and we create, like, we assign this number to the pipe. Yeah, this one is insane. So I think this is the x and this is the y coordinates. So yeah, here I could have used probably a point for x and y, and instead of having 4 separate variables, have a list of points, right? Like, damn. But you know, if it works, it works. And like, if you think about it, for a first project, I mean, I'm pretty sure you cannot expect something else. Like, sure, imagine like someone waiting a lot more before doing a project like this, but at the same time I already have like 3 projects more than you, so you know, yeah, like that's how you can think about it. Like, it's better to just create trash and get better while creating trash, rather than just reading books and not creating anything. So yeah, I mean, basically just the project, stop reading books. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, creating all of them. So no, I would be much better at doing this stuff by doing a list of points, but damn, I'm not even sure why I needed to add height, because I understand why I did the x and y, right? These are the x and y, but height, not sure it's what's needed. okay. Then we have like a timer one, which no idea what this means, but whatever. Then we have a click. So if we click on button 1, which is the start button, but it's called button 1 because why not? I kept all the default names. I think it was pretty difficult to change the names, and I'm not sure how you create components with custom IDs. I mean, because if you create a button, it adds it to like a resource file, so you have to change the name there, and it was really annoying. You also have to use the right name here, so yeah, this was a bit annoying. So if we click on the start button, we do start game, which just initializes everything, and makes the button hidden, makes the player and the spikes and whatnot visible, and starts the stopwatch, which probably is for the score, as we saw in die, I guess. Yeah, so it's for the score. Then in the paint function again, this whole like having a separate variable for each pipe, I guess that's the main thing from this project, right? Like that's the biggest, probably like people are fucking dying seeing this stuff, but I find it extremely like, it made so much sense doing it like this. Probably it's understandable, right? Like, because again, I think I had only one platform, and then I thought, how can I add multiple? And I'm saying that because here it's missing a white space, so probably it was something like this, right? Imagine this thing, and I clicked here, and I'm not even sure how that could have happened. Like, imagine trying to select that and press 1, right? And that's how why I don't have a white space there. So that's what I think happened. Had only one, and then thought, how can I add multiple? And instead of, it's possible to even do something like list of lists, right? Even this could have worked, but I think it was too complicated for my brain to have a list of lists. So yeah, I think that's why I added them as variables. But again, I'm also a bit surprised that I couldn't figure out that this could be a collection of pipes. But honestly, I don't even remember when I like writing the code. That's how old this code is. Like, I really don't remember it. I mean, I remember the Flappy Bird game. Did I show the Flappy Bird game? I'll do it at the end. I remember doing that because I was following this tutorial, which honestly I don't remember the YouTube video because it was pretty neat. And it wasn't like brackies or something like that. It was like some weird not that known YouTuber probably. So yeah, I mean, I guess brackies wasn't even a thing then. Not sure, don't really remember, because like 2 years later or something I was doing Unity and following brackies tutorials, so I don't think brackies was a thing. So yeah, I did this stuff before Unity, because I mean, I'm not even sure, probably this was the like required to do it in Windows Forms. Anyway, oh my my god, another one with pipes. So this one is, oh, I get it now. I wanted multiple timers. So the tick is like an update. So if I have multiple timers, I can have multiple updates, but I'm not sure if they run in parallel, because then it would, you know, be really big brain situation, but I don't know if they run in parallel, because I can have like a timer for spikes, or I guess for the pipes, a timer for the players, so on, right? So yeah, here if it goes out of bounds, so if the pipe position is less than 0, I guess, oh my god, we redo the random thing. Okay, sure, like whatever, not that bad. And here we move the pipe. I guess makes sense. And then what a surprise, is the same thing for all of them. I guess the only difference than the beginning is that now I spawn it at the bottom, so it's always gonna be at the bottom. Okay, I mean, you know, if it works, it works. Again, it's like it was just supposed to work once at least. So I mean, obviously this can be done better, but let's not go into details. Then I had the move function, it looks like, which this is like a safe checkpoint between insane, like moving the pipes, moving the player, whew. Oh my god, it's so easy, and then collision, holy moly. So collision again, because I have like separate variables. Sure, you can have a function or something, but obviously a list would be better. So I do the intersection between all the rectangles and the player, which, I mean, honestly, this is what we want to do, right? We want to get the intersection so that we are able to say, I guess, if the player is on top of a platform. But, you know, if you think about it, this is how you do it. You just get the pipes and do the intersection. Like, what's wrong with this, right? It's perfectly working code. Sure, would be easier to have a for loop, and when I add a new pipe, I don't even need to think about this thing. But at the same time, since we only have 4 platforms, and that's the only, like, it's never gonna change, this is perfectly fine code. And I think this one is for wrapping around the screen, which I guess this part I could have put in here because it's more related to horizontal movement, but yeah, like, makes sense. Okay, and timer 3 was for the player, if I remember correctly. So this is the update for the player. Again, I'm not sure if they run in parallel, but in an ECS style, like in an ECS world, they would probably run in parallel. Okay, so oh wait, what? Not sure why I need to start a stopwatch here. Whatever. I guess if you start it once, it doesn't matter how many times you start it, so whatever. Okay, so this is like adding the gravity, but it's not necessarily gravity because we don't have acceleration and stuff, which I think it makes sense because in a game like this, not sure if I want, like, it's better to have better controls, like no gravity, and just have a constant speed because it's more arcadey that way. But yeah, I don't know if I knew how to do accelerated movement, because I needed another variable for velocity, which you increase with G, and then you increase the position with velocity, right? That's how you do it. But not sure if I knew about that, even though I was doing physics. So proof that, again, if you like read books, it won't help you. I mean, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, I mean, I knew about, you know, movement rules and stuff, but I guess I wanted to have constant speed probably. So let's just put it that way. Not because I don't remember why I wanted to have constant speed. But then I do collision, die, and move. Because, you know, pretty sure that while watching Brackies, that's where I saw the first time the accelerated movement. So it was after this, most probably. So not sure I knew about that then. Maybe. And then the last two things are getting the input, so key down and key up, which, I mean, makes sense. So yeah, the only thing that I would change honestly in this entire code is having a list of points for the pipes, and probably instead of using globals everywhere, have some of these be local variables like highscore, duration. Maybe instead of 2 booleans here, have only one, because pretty sure they are used like this everywhere, right? So yeah, so they are used when one is true, the other one is false, basically. Okay, so yeah, basically this is the code, 300 lines of code. So yeah, like the next logical step is to try to rewrite the game. Sure, like try to get better graphics, try to get the resolution working properly, and it would be mainly for, you know, rewriting the game. And for this thing, you know, let me know in the comments if you want to see like what framework should I use. Should I do it in Relib, Bevy, like in Rust, Godot, or something like that? Or if you know something else I didn't mention, also mention that one. Be really useful. And yeah, let me know if you think like what else can be changed in the code base, because, you know, you can have a lot of improvements. And, you know, it would be cool if you had a similar experience, like the first time coding, like doing stupid stuff, like a lot of, instead of using lists, doing each thing individually. So I mean, still decent. Oh yeah, and the Flappy bird, right? So this one was like part of a tutorial that I found, which, interesting, this one had a bit better working resolution. But still pretty scuffed. Man, I cannot even get to 1 point. Okay, 2 points, I'm happy with that. So let's, yeah, so that's the game I copied from a YouTube tutorial, and pretty sure if these things are from 2014, the tutorial must have been from 2012 or something. So I mean, I tried to search for it, but you know, if a video is older than 1 or 2 years, YouTube is like, oh, I don't know about that, it's, what are you talking about? So yeah, I mean, you know, if the videos are really old, then you won't find them in the YouTube search anyways. So yeah, basically this was here I was like 8 years ago, but yeah, I mean 9 months ago, probably it was 8 years ago. So yeah, this is the code. So I'll try to rewrite it, and I guess, you know, if hopefully like people will say like, oh, do it in X and Y framework, but you know, if no one chooses something, I'll choose one. So yeah, so yeah, we'll see when I try to do this thing in maybe Raylib or in Bevy, maybe even Godot, but that would be because I don't know Godot at all. So, but would be interesting to see if I manage to do it in a better way than this, and let's say like a speed run also, because this probably took me like at least 2 or 3 hours to do, maybe even more days. But I'm sure that the Flappy Bird game was pretty quick because I copied it from YouTube, and there were like 2 or 3 videos of 20 minutes, something like that. So yeah, pretty sure that's how it worked. But yeah, you know, let me know if you want to see me rewriting the game, and we'll see in the next one.